What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Superior combiner's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Zeta Toys Kronos. I'm excited to put it together. I have high hopes. The single bot reviews will be coming for the last two releases. And speaking of the last two releases, I told you there was a chance it might both get out before Chinese New Year, and some of you told me I was wrong. Well, look who ended up on the right side of that argument. If I were a poor winner. No, it doesn't matter. Look, they're out, they're ready, and so am I. Let's get them combined. But first, we have to look at one accessory. Now, if you like this gun, the good news is, if you sort the hand out, he'll hold it just fine. Whoa, but no problems. However, there is an alternative option. You can also open up this component and remove Silverbolt's gun, close this up, and then use the 5mm port to put in to the forearm so that it looks a little bit more reminiscent of the G1 design. That is from the cartoon. Shout out to Paul S. for sending me that info. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. These ridges here are for these side notches there. I had to flip the feet around so that you can see the bottom pegs of the feet in order to try to get the clearance. I don't know if that's how the instructions had it or not. I can't remember at this point. But once you do, you'll be able to get one fairly easy, and then the second one, you kind of have to pull against to get it in. But once you have it, it's good to go, but it's a little bit of a strange feeling. Then you want to make sure that it's in the right place so that you can take this tab here and close it. Let's adjust the camera around the front notches, and that will secure the leg. And it's the same for this guy. It's these ridges here, just works identically, and you just gotta get one in and then pull against the other, make sure that everything is tabbed up. That one went much better. Make sure that it's all slid back. Let me adjust the camera. And then take your front flap and flip it up and tab it in, and that should secure it. Now we get to connect the legs. So open up this flap in the back, which will expose a little pocket to put this die-cast bar in. And then two plastic pieces encapsulate the back part of the bot. Let me see, there. That's one side in and the other side in, and then you can close this side, the back plate, and then take your side pieces here and close them around the holes on the side, and that is in position. We're just gonna rinse and repeat on the other side. Open up this back plate, slide in your die-cast bar. There's two plastic notches that will lock in as well, and then close this around it. Take these flaps, bring it down, and plug it into these two holes, and you're gonna wanna do that on both sides. For your arm, just disconnect here enough to slide in this wedge for the hand, and then close it all back up. And then you can adjust these feet kind of as need be. There's a lot of different options you can do with this. This might be the best, like the cleanest. And it's pretty much rinse and repeat for Fireflight. Then for the arms, you want to lift up these back two pieces on both sides, which will expose the ports on both sides. Slide in your arms so that the part without the groove is facing towards the back. And then close this back up on both sides. This thing, I can tell you right now, is beautiful. Close it back up. I'll get them cleaned up. We'll take a look at them. Come on, man. Come on, man. That thing looks awesome, and it is very stable. They know what they're doing. Let's look at articulation. So we don't really need to talk about accents and so forth because we've kind of gone through that. The head swivels, looks far up, looks a good bit down, no issues. The arm, 90 degrees out, no problem. At the shoulder, move the flap, goes all the way around, ratchets hold it perfectly. The bicep swivel you get below the elbow and above, but when you work from above, you have more of a fight with the kibble of the jet. The elbow itself ratchet a little shy of 90 degrees, but I don't think you'd want any more. The hand, ratchet, in, out. The thumb, we've kind of gone through this articulation, but we'll do it one more time. Oh, you get a swivel as well at the wrist. Little tight, Fans Toy Squeak. Swivel at the thumb, hinge at the base knuckle, hinge at the second knuckle, hinge at the third knuckle. All the fingers are individually articulated with hinges at the bottom so that you can get them out to the side, as well as hinges that allow you to move forward so they act somewhat like a universal joint, and then another hinge at the second knuckle and another hinge at the third knuckle for full articulation. With combiners, I don't like to say same on the other side, so let's go through it. The shoulder, ratcheted, holds it like a champ out to 90 degrees. Fold the flap forward. It rotates all the way around. I just popped the wing off. And will also hold the degree at any ratcheted notch. Elbows work exactly the same. You do get a bicep swivel above the elbow. This one, just because of the design of the jet, gives you a little bit more room before you start disrupting the kibble, but you also get it below the elbow as well. It's just a little bit of a tighter joint. Elbow itself is ratcheted for a bend that gets you 90 degrees. It should also be worth mentioning that you see the pistons and stuff from the side. So all that stuff is like little cool accent stuff. The wrists are just plug-in pieces. They work exactly the same. Swivel that's squeaky, ratcheted in, out, and then the knuckles are all identical. For the waist, ratcheted, swivel, get you all the way around, really, no issues. You get an ab crunch, 2 clicks forward, not the greatest, but I mean, how many combiners do we have with ab crunches? And you get the hip skirts, which rotate out to the sides like we've seen with their other releases, and we'll lower the camera a bit to do the hips. Out to the side. Holds it like a champ for the full Van Damme. Move the flap around, you get out to the front. That one doesn't hold the weight as well, but it will go all the way up. And there it is holding it. Move the back plate around to the side. You'll get the leg all the way back, and it'll hold it. Thigh swivel, built around the universal. The universal joint is on a sliding bar, so you can adjust for it inside of the hips to help you balance the combiner in a particular pose. The knees are ratcheted, double jointed. They get you almost the full range, and you have pistons and stuff in there that just looks aesthetically cool. Same for the other side. For the ankles, we have ratcheted rockers that go all the way out to there, which should get you everything that you want. A toe tilt and a swivel, which is very, very nice. Same for the other side, just in case you were curious. Swivel at the bottom. And toe tilt up. And there he is from the back. And you know, Superion has design elements that make him a little kibbly, but that's about as clean as I would expect it to ever be for one that transforms. Phenomenal. Size comparison wise, you'll see that he's right in line with the rest. A very uniformed, solid look. I'll put Magic Square Prime up there too so you get an idea. No complaints whatsoever. Final thoughts wise, I have 2 negatives. And they're both things that we've kind of been talking about with this set from day one, and it did end up affecting the combiner at the end of the day. Complaint number 1, some of the stuff has had a hard time staying tabbed in and staying stuck in. One of those glaring examples are the caps that go from the lower thighs to the hips in both the leg bots. As you can see in the gray one, both have come undone from me posing him. As a result, Superion does lose the slightest bit of stability in that department for me. So it's a small problem that was there in the beginning, and as a result, it has had consequences for the end piece. My other complaint is more so a design issue. It's not really Zeta's fault. The aerial bot design always causes a fair bit of kibble on the arms. It's a little difficult and wonky to work around them as you're going to pose them. I'm not sure if there's any real way to get around that unless the whole thing was removable and replaceable with the parts forming part that would go on the shoulders. But being as though people have complained about the middle sections and the feet and hands, I can see that that wouldn't do them much favors in terms of opinion wise in the fandom, but they wouldn't have heard a peep out of me. This thing is awesome. It's probably just as good as their Devastator, slightly better than their Bruticus. Again, it's one of the most solid, stable combiners I've ever dealt with. They're 3 for 3 in that regard. The presence is ridiculous. The articulation is second to none in regards to combiners and stability they're in. Cleans up as well as I think Superion can. Now, obviously, you can add the wings and stuff to the arms and legs if you so desire. I don't, but you have that option. The sculpt is spot on. The colors are perfect. The hardware for the combiner elements are amazing. Wonderfully designed and executed in terms of distributing the articulation and weight. And the price is extremely reasonable for all the components. Of course, the Fans Toys one is coming. Of course, I'll be getting it. My plan is to have them for robot mode because these robot modes aren't as strong. The Fans Toys combine mode might be as strong, but we don't know. What I did know is that this thing was going to be top shelf. And guess what it is? Top shelf. Both figuratively and literally. Can't wait for the next batch. Heard the Predaking is coming and the dummies might be talking about it soon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.